right, thank you so much. Give me just a minute here while I switch over. All right. So here we're gonna start looking at, oh, apologize. Technology is always fun. All right. So this is the modern command designer, and I just want to call out, I'm looking at the main form command bar. If you haven't seen this before, this is Microsoft is now giving us the opportunity to create new buttons with a modern interface that can fit in with the legacy buttons. And so we're able to create the split expense button, and we're telling it we want to use a JavaScript function. So we're calling this open custom pages dialog function in JavaScript. And then we have a number of parameters that we're passing to that. Like I said, the function is made so it's very dynamic. So we can plug and play this same expression, the same library and function into other settings. So if we create other dialogues, we'll use the same function there. And we just have to change things like what is the name of the table that we're operating on? What do we want the dialog window to be titled? This is the name of the custom page itself, and we've got the dimensions of the window that we actually want to pop up. So we can control how big and how high, height and width. Those are the two numbers there. And so we've got that programmed in here. And then, like I said, that's calling this JavaScript function. It's reusable. We try to make it as generic as possible. And so it's just called Open Custom Pages Dialog. This might be overwhelming to you. I'm not a developer, but I was able to figure this out. And it's pretty basic, and it's supposed to be just plug and play. So you shouldn't have to know so much how to use this, but essentially plug and play for any application. Just put it in a new instance and tell it which custom page and how big you want it. And that's kind of the idea with this. I'll show you the editor here. This is the custom page editor. It looks like a Canvas app because it essentially is. Custom pages have some small differences, but they ultimately are designed to be embedded within the model-driven applications, and they feel just a lot more native than a traditional Canvas app. And one thing, like Eric mentioned, we're leveraging the modern controls. So if you go to Insert Controls, there's the classic set of controls, and we're using the modern ones. The modern ones allow it to look and feel just like the new look and feel in model-driven applications that rolled out this year. And so we have a number of different containers that we're using here that allows it to have a responsive layout. So if we decide to change the size of this dialog, then everything will adjust as it needs to. And so it'll take up the horizontal and the vertical width as it needs to fill that space. And that's kind of how it was built. So you can see each of the components, and we'll look at it here in just a minute. I'll highlight real quick. You can see this button for splitting is right here, and it's grayed out. And I'll just put it in preview for a quick second, and let me show you the button here is actually set to do a big PowerFX expression. So this is the low code language. It is overwhelming. It takes a learning curve. So it is not something that someone who's never done this before can jump into. And we've got some great resources, and we have a great wealth of knowledge internally. So it definitely is not for the faint of heart. But I'm sure you've seen Excel formulas that are just as big. In any case, it's creating a new expense with the entered amount using a patch expression. And then we're actually handling errors right here. If there are any errors, we're going to return them back to the user to let them know. And it's going to show up as an error message to say, hey, something went wrong. And then if there is no issue, we're actually going to decrement that original expense. So first we have to create the new expense with whatever the user entered, and then we have to decrease the amount of the original record. And we also want to check for errors again there. And ultimately, if everything is successful, we want to navigate the user into that new record. And we've got a little loading spinner that's running while that operation is in process as well. So let's see it in action here. I'm in the field service application. I've got this expenses table, and I've got this $250 that Simon Rayleigh logged for his hotel against work order 7. But we know that Simon actually worked on work order 6 and 7 while he was staying at the hotel that week. And so we want to use this split expense button. I'll click the button. It'll open the dialog. So you can see when I clicked that modern command button, it used JavaScript to open the custom page that we told it to open. And now we're able to enter an amount that we want to split. And this is set up so it won't take it if I type in something that's not a number. If I type in a number that's too high, then it's going to leave -$5. Well, we can't do that. And if I put in 125, then I'm able to do that. And I can see the split expense button becomes blue. New work order is an optional field, but I am going to move this 125 onto work order number 6. And let me go ahead and hit split, that little loading spinner, and then it navigates us into the new record because everything succeeded. And so that's the use case with that. And then once I have this new one, I could split it if I wanted. Maybe I want $50 to move back to work order 7. I don't know. Or I can hit cancel because I don't actually need to. So that's a little bit of how it actually works in action. So you can see button, it looks totally native. When I open this dialog with the modern controls, everything looks and feels very much like a model-driven application. You've got the blue underlined, the theming is on brand. It just creates a really clean interface and experience for the users.